Ladies and gentlemen, in this moment, who better to hear from and talk to? So many things going on in the country. We saw the joint session last night, and then we got some very shocking news this morning. Let's get right into it. We're happy to have with us our dear brother from the great village of Brooklyn. He is the House Democratic leader. He is practically our party leader, the highest ranking, so to speak, leader. And we welcome him now. Hakeem Jeffries, Congressman Hakeem Jeffries from the village of Brooklyn. My brother, how are you?
Great to be with you, my brother. Thanks for having me on.
It's a pleasure to have you. Let's begin this way. We were all shocked to hear the news about Sylvester Turner this morning.
Deeply saddened and shocked by the news. I got a call very early in the morning uh, informing me of his passing. It was sudden, it was unexpected. He took ill a little bit yesterday, but was able to receive some medical care and was determined to be on the floor of the House of Representatives to represent his beloved district in Houston, the people who sent him to Congress, and to be there to stare down the president in the face. And so he made it to the House floor and immediately thereafter even posted a video to his constituents reemphasizing his desire to save their health care,
Mm.
the importance of winning the Medicaid fight. We know that Sylvester Turner was a legendary public servant. He went from the Acre Homes community, one of the toughest communities in Houston and in the nation, all the way to Harvard Law School, and then came back home, was a champion for social and racial justice, eventually rising to become the mayor of Houston. And then, upon the sudden passing of another warrior, Sheila Jackson Lee, stepped in to continue the representation that is still fiercely needed at this moment.
And of course, as you mentioned, even with his political career, he was mayor for many years in the state legislature. Y'all know politics can be a dirty business, but Sylvester Turner never compromised his kindness. He was a good, decent man. You can always say that about a whole lot of folk in politics, but that was a good, kind brother. So our thoughts and prayers are with him and his family, and with you, and the House and the Democrats as well. So, and that coming on the heels of last night, your general thoughts about the speech last night. I and not a lot of folks have talked about this in the media. They focus on other things, but I found it quite intriguing that Trump spent some time talking about how you and the Democrats don't show him any love. He's been up there 5 times, and you all have never embraced him. It's like there's something else going on with that, and we know that how that ego is. But I found that very interesting. What else are you supposed to do? Why would you?
It was very interesting, and that wasn't in the script.
Right.
So that was something that came into his consciousness as a result of the manner in which we engaged, which was we weren't reacting in any favorable or positive way to the things that he was saying, because the things that he was saying was foolishness, a lot of misinformation, and of course, he is championing causes that are going to hurt our community.
Yeah.
But it was clear that he was feeling the absence of support for him and most importantly for his policies, and felt so bothered by it that he actually injected it into his speech. But at the end of the day, I think what was so deeply troubling to me is that this is somebody who promised to make life better for the American people. His whole campaign was about the economy and lowering costs. He gave a 100-minute speech and spent less than two on the economy because he has no plan, there are no ideas, and they have no intention
Right.
of improving the lives of the American people. They're trying to cut Medicaid, the largest Medicaid cut in American history, is part of their Republican reckless budget proposal, that's going to hurt children, hurt families, hurt people with disabilities, hurt seniors, hurt nursing home care, and shut down hospitals.
And that last point is important because some folk hear Medicaid and they think, well, that's only for people who actually receive Medicaid. But what Medicaid does is to a large extent undergird the funding of hospitals for everyone, even those who don't have Medicaid, including those with Medicare and those who have their own private insurance, right?
That's exactly right. It's a very important and powerful point, Mark. I appreciate you making that. Uh, Now, about a third of the American people rely on Medicaid for their health insurance. So that's an enormous number of people in and of itself. But exactly as you indicated, because so many Medicaid patients are served by these hospitals and nursing homes, if you dramatically cut their Medicaid benefits, you are going to have an impact on the ability of the hospital or the nursing home to remain open.
Yeah.
In fact, 66% by some estimates of nursing home residents are parents, are grandparents, are loved ones in their golden years. 66% rely on Medicaid for their nursing home care and their long-term care. And so if you decimate Medicaid, nursing homes are going to close, hospitals are going to close, and everyone in that community is going to suffer.
That's hospitals closing. Now let's talk about these mass deportations and all of his assaults. If we go down that road, we're talking about some businesses closing, aren't we?
That's exactly right. And one of the things that we are already starting to see, and we understand it certainly is important for us to secure the border, and everybody can support that in a strong and a safe and a humane fashion. We have to secure the border. We have a broken immigration system. We want to fix it. We believe we need to fix it in a comprehensive and bipartisan way. And we are going to always protect our dreamers, protect our farm workers, protect law abiding immigrant families. And to the extent that there's going to be enforcement activity, that should be focused on deporting violent felons, not law abiding families. And what we see happening in many instances is the exact opposite. And so, as a result of the fear that has been created, what we're seeing is that farm workers aren't showing up to work. We see food processing workers not showing up. We see construction workers not showing up to job sites. And so industries are being hurt and impacted. And that impact is going to be felt by everyone. In fact, it's going to be felt by the economy cratering, which we are already seeing in real time.
Yeah.
Things aren't getting better, they're getting worse for the American people under this administration.
Then the jobs that we have, even in our own government. I had the honor of being invited to speak or MC the rally that the American Federation of Government Employees had at Office Personnel Management yesterday. Before the speech last night, Chris Van Hollen was there, and Kwesi Mfume and Glenn Ivey and others were there. Don Beyer even came by. The assault on our civil service, especially, well, really around the country, but we know in the DMV, that makes up a lot of the tax base. These are the people who work and contribute to the well-being of the entire DC, Maryland, Virginia area. But we had people there from all over the country who were losing their jobs, who were being summarily fired by a person that we may as well call a co-president, and not, if not the real president, whom your legislature never had an opportunity to vet or have a confirmation hearing. I mean, that has to be, we know it's unprecedented, but it must be illegal.
It's outrageous. It's one of the reasons why Trump administration has been repeatedly taken to court. More than 100 different lawsuits have been filed by our partners, Democratic attorney generals, civil rights groups, advocacy organizations, and others as it relates to at least 35 or 40 of these unconstitutional and unlawful executive actions, including the engagement of Elon Musk. And the Trump administration is not winning in court, they're losing over and over and over again. And we're going to keep the pressure on them in the courts, just like we're keeping the pressure on them in the legislature. Now, one of the things that's interesting is that Donald Trump spoke about unelected bureaucrats. Elon Musk is sitting in the chamber. He's the biggest unelected bureaucrat in the country right now.
Right, right.
And he's taking a sledgehammer, a blowtorch, a chainsaw to the federal government and our ability to actually provide people with the services that they need. So, for instance, they want to dramatically cut the number of employees who are part of the Social Security Administration. That is going to impact the ability for everyday Americans in their golden years to receive their benefits.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's also important, Mark, to note that none of this activity that Donald Trump and Elon Musk and Republicans are unleashing on the American people have been cemented into law. They have not passed a single bill that cements their Project 2025 agenda because Democrats are unified in opposition.
Yeah.
And we're holding Republicans accountable, which is why they're trying to take these steps through executive action, which then prompts us to sue them and stop them.
Yeah. For those not heard, and this is just the news of the day, basically fresh. At the moment, the Supreme Court has struck down the Trump administration's efforts to freeze foreign aid funds. So we're just gonna have to fight these battles one day at a time. I know you don't have a lot of time left. Your thoughts about your members who walked out last night, one, and then particularly about Al Green, and are the rumors true? Should we be concerned, or are they just blowing smoke? Should we be concerned about the rumors that the Republican leadership would want to censure Al Green?
It's our understanding that they may try to bring a censure resolution to the floor later on today. We as House Democrats will move to table that resolution. It's all, an effort by House Republicans to try to hide the ball from the American people. They failed to deliver on their promise to lower costs. Costs aren't going down in the United States of America, they're going up. Inflation is going up. The stock market is collapsing. People are losing their retirement security. They've done nothing to make life better for the American people. They're trying to cut Medicaid, trying to cut veterans benefits, trying to cut nutritional assistance for children and families. They know that all of this is unpopular, and they're doing it because they want to provide massive tax breaks for their billionaire donors and wealthy corporations. But they're running from that agenda. They want to hide it from the American people. And that's why they're doing things like targeting Al Green. I haven't had the opportunity to talk to him yet today, but I do plan to connect with him in advance of the vote later on this afternoon.
But do you feel that he and those who protested, and I know everybody can't do that, we get that, but it is meaningful when the members have the freedom to express themselves on behalf of their constituency the way they want. I think a lot of people were inspired by what they saw last night.
I think, Al Green has been very passionate about his concerns with Donald Trump on behalf of the people that he represents from the very beginning of Trump's first term. As you might recall, it was Al Green who introduced the first articles of impeachment that were not brought to the floor at that point because there was a Republican controlled Congress. But subsequently, of course, there were not just articles of impeachment brought against Trump. In one instance, there were two impeachments of Donald Trump, resulting in two Senate trials, one of which I participated in along with my sister at the time, Val Demings. And so, listen, this is a moment where people are upset. concerned, scared, and there's a lot of righteous indignation
Yeah.
that exists. And we all, of course, are going to have to channel that righteous indignation, but also make sure that we are broadening the appeal to the American people, because we have several things that we have to do. We have to win the legislative battles, we have to win the court battles, and we have to win the hearts and minds of the American people so we can turn this situation around and
That's
end this national nightmare and bring the American dream to life for our community and for every other community across the country.
the Democratic leader, the opposition leader, the stalwart from the village of Brooklyn here in New York, Representative Hakeem Jeffries. Thank you, brother. And I hope this will be the beginning. People want to know what's going on. They want to see all of you. They want to get that morale boost back up, folks. I just realized we 18 months out already.
That's right.
This is quick. And there are elections this year. So get involved, folks. And we're happy to have the leader here. He's going to be with us, and we're going to continue to let you know what we all can do to make this difference along with him. Thank you, my brother.
Thank you, my brother. Look forward to staying close.
Yes, sir. Likewise. Likewise.